Okay, so you're dreaming of owning a little piece of paradise, are you?
Sun-drenched beaches, swaying palm trees.
And according to these articles you send over,
Maybe a savvy investment opportunity, too.
that's what we're here to find out.
It's certainly a tempting image, isn't it?
We've got a stack of articles here,
Especially with these articles painting such a rosy picture
all from Ocean Worldwide, a real estate company based in Phuket.
of booming tourism, expat havens, and property values climbing steadily.
That's what piqued my interest right away.
But before you pack your bags,
Why are they so gung-ho about Samui when they could be pushing properties on their own turf?
let's dig a little deeper, shall we?
Yeah.
That's the million-dollar question.
Right.
Are they genuinely seeing something unique in the Samui market?
Okay.
Or is there a strategic play here? Maybe subtly steering investors away from Phuket's more established market.
Let's talk numbers.
It's something to keep in mind as we unpack their claims.
These articles throw around some pretty impressive figures.
Okay.
They're saying property values in Samui are rising by 5 to 7% annually.
5 to 7%.
On the surface, that sounds like a pretty solid return.
It does, doesn't it?
Right.
But the real question is that growth sustainable?
Yeah.
What's fueling it?
What is fueling it?
Is it driven by genuine demand or more speculative investment?
Okay.
And how does that 5 to 7% compare to, say, Phuket's growth over the same period?
Right.
We need to put those numbers in context.
Good point. It's easy to get dazzled by those percentages without considering the bigger picture.
It is.
Speaking of dazzling, they use this example of a luxury villa. A cool 39 million batter.
Wow.
Now, that's a hefty price tag.
That is.
But they still frame it as a smart buy because of the strong rental demand from tourists.
They're tapping into that aspirational own a slice of paradise dream, for sure. But strong rental demand today doesn't necessarily guarantee long-term returns.
Right.
What happens if tourism takes a hit
Ooh.
or a new hotspot emerges?
Okay.
We need to consider those potential fluctuations in the market.
So it's not all sunshine and coconut cocktails when it comes to investing in Samui.
Right.
There are risks involved, like any investment.
Precisely.
What?
And that's where due diligence comes in.
Due diligence.
Not just taking their word for it,
Yeah.
but really scrutinizing the market.
Okay.
Understanding the legal complexities.
Yeah.
And frankly, getting your hands dirty with some independent research.
Music to my ears. I love a good deep dive.
All right,
So let's talk property types.
let's do it.
These articles showcase a pretty diverse range.
Okay.
Lavish villas, beachfront condos, even those trendy modern apartments.
Okay.
Seems like they're trying to appeal to a wide range of investors, from those seeking luxury escapes to those looking for a more affordable entry point.
They're casting a wide net, that's for sure.
Right.
And they use this example of a villa project in Chowang
Okay.
that supposedly saw a 30% value jump in just 2 years.
30% in 2 years.
No, that's eye-catching, wouldn't you say?
That's insane. But is that a realistic expectation for the average investor?
It's a good question.
Or are they cherry-picking success stories to grab our attention?
That's the skepticism we need.
What?
Remember, these are marketing materials designed to entice.
Okay.
We need to look at the average rental yields in Samui.
Okay.
How do they compare to other popular Southeast Asian destinations? Are we talking about a genuinely lucrative market, or is the hype outpacing reality?
Okay, so we're seeing some potential yellow flags already.
Yeah.
What about the elephant in the room? The fact that we're talking about foreign ownership in Thailand.
Okay.
I've heard it's not exactly a walk in the park.
You've heard correctly.
Okay.
Thailand has some unique laws when it comes to foreigners owning property.
Right.
You can't just buy land outright like you might in other countries.
Right.
There are leaseholds setting up Thai companies' restrictions on condo ownership.
Yeah.
It can get complicated quickly.
Sounds like we need to tread carefully.
Yes.
All right, let's unravel these legal complexities a bit. What's the deal with leaseholds?
Sure.
That seems to be the most common route for foreigners looking to buy in Thailand, right?
It is essentially with a leasehold, you're leasing the land from a Thai owner
Okay.
for a set period, usually up to 30 years sometimes,
Yeah.
with the option to renew.
Okay, so it's not outright ownership,
Right.
but it gives you the right to live on and develop that land for a significant chunk of time.
Yes.
What's the catch? There's always a catch, right?
You know, the biggest one is that you're bound by Thai property law,
Okay.
which can be, let's say, nuanced.
Right.
And those laws can change. Plus, those lease agreements need to be carefully examined.
Okay.
What happens if the owner wants to sell before your lease is up?
Right.
What about those renewal clauses? Are they ironclad?
Yeah.
This is where having a savvy lawyer in your corner is non-negotiable.
Makes sense. You don't want to be caught off guard by some legal fine print.
Right.
They did mention another option, setting up a Thai company to own the land.
Yes.
What's the story there?
That's the path to more direct control, but it comes with a whole other layer of complexity.
Okay.
You'd create a Thai company,
Yeah.
and that company owns the land.
Right.
Sounds simple enough.
Hit me with the but.
The but is that, as a foreigner, you can usually only own up to 49% of that company's shares.
Wow.
The majority shareholder needs to be Thai.
Wait, so you're telling me I could sink my money into a property in paradise?
Right.
And I wouldn't even be the majority owner?
Right.
That seems like a recipe for disaster if things go south.
It's definitely not for the faint of heart.
Mm-hmm.
Trust is paramount here.
Yeah.
You'd need airtight legal agreements,
Yeah.
a deep understanding of Thai corporate law,
Right.
and a reliable local partner you can trust implicitly. Again, not a DIY situation.
Got it. So leaseholds have their uncertainties.
Right.
Setting up a company sounds like a legal labyrinth.
Yes.
What about condos? They mentioned those as a more straightforward option.
They are, in a way, foreigners can directly own condo units in Thailand,
Okay.
which is appealing. But here's the kicker.
Okay.
There's a 49% foreign ownership cap for each condo project.
So if that swanky beachfront development has already hit that 49% foreign ownership limit.
You're out of luck.
Uh-huh.
You'd be competing with other foreign buyers for a limited number of units.
Oh, wow.
And you can bet that those prime locations they keep highlighting,
Right.
places like Chaweng or Beaufort, those are going to be in high demand.
Okay, so condos offer a simpler ownership structure,
You-
but you might be facing stiff competition, especially in those desirable areas.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And regardless of which ownership route you choose,
Okay.
there's one crucial thing these articles gloss over: due diligence.
Due diligence. Isn't that just a fancy term for doing your homework?
It is, but it's homework with high stakes.
Okay.
You need to verify everything.
Well,
Title deeds building permits zoning regulations.
right.
It's about making sure there are no hidden surprises lurking beneath the surface of that tropical paradise.
So no cutting corners on the research, no matter how tempting it is to just jump on a plane and start living the dream.
Exactly.
Mm-mm.
Speaking of dreams, let's revisit those enticing locations they highlighted.
Oh, okay.
They painted a very specific picture of each. We've got Chaweng, the vibrant heart of the island.
Right. Beaches, nightlife, shopping. That was the vibe I was getting.
It is.
But is it all it's cracked up to be from an investor's perspective?
Well, they present it as the most established tourist hub,
Right.
which for short-term rentals is a major selling point.
Okay.
Remember that modern villa with clubhouse access for under 8 million bander?
Oh, yeah, that one definitely caught my eye. But they also mentioned Chaweng's lively nightlife.
Yeah.
Is that code for potential noise complaints from renters?
It's something to consider.
Yeah.
If you're envisioning a serene island retreat,
Okay.
Chaweng's bustling energy might not align with that vision,
Right.
and that serene retreat might be more appealing to a certain type of long-term renter.
Good point.
Yes.
You've got to think about the target market for each location.
Exactly.
Speaking of long-term, what about those investors looking for capital appreciation?
Okay.
The buy and hold strategy.
Hmm.
Is Chaweng still a good bet?
That's where things get interesting.
Okay.
While they focus on Chaweng's immediate appeal to tourists,
Right.
they also hint at some underlying factors that could signal continued growth.
Okay.
Remember all those new developments they mentioned, residential projects,
Yeah.
commercial spaces.
You made it sound like the whole island was booming with construction.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that kind of large-scale development has a ripple effect.
Okay.
Infrastructure improvements, for instance, benefit everyone.
Right.
But they tend to have a more noticeable impact on already popular areas like Chaweng.
Right.
It can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Investment attracts more investment.
So even with the higher prices you might pay up front for a prime spot in Chaweng,
Right.
there's still potential for significant appreciation down the line.
Potentially. But remember our earlier conversation about market volatility.
Right.
No guarantees in the world of real estate.
Right.
Especially in a tourist-dependent market like Samui. Speaking of other areas, Lamai, they painted a very different picture there.
Yeah, Lamai was all about laid-back vibes, family-friendly beaches,
Right.
a slower pace of life. Not exactly the pulsating heart of the action that is Chaweng.
Right.
Do they even compare from an investment standpoint?
That's the thing. They're appealing to very different segments of the market.
Right.
Lamai is positioned as the ideal spot for families and retirees.
Okay.
Maybe even those seeking a quieter, more permanent escape.
Which makes sense, but how does that translate into rental income?
That's the question.
Are we talking about the same earning potential as a short-term rental in a bustling hub like Chowang?
That's the key question.
Mm.
You might see longer-term stays in a place like Lamai,
Mm.
potentially attracting retirees looking for a slice of paradise. Think stability over quick returns.
Okay, so maybe less lucrative than the fast-paced world of short-term rentals,
Right.
but potentially a more stable long-term investment.
Potentially. But remember, stability in real estate is relative.
Right.
And these articles don't delve too deeply into Lamai's potential for growth in the coming years.
So it could be a safe, steady bet, or it could lag behind those higher growth areas.
Exactly. And that's something you'd want to research independently.
Okay.
Don't rely solely on marketing materials for that level of market analysis.
Right.
Look for independent data, compare historical price trends, really dig into the numbers.
Do your homework? I'm sensing a recurring theme here.
Yes.
All right, last but not least, we've got Beaufort.
Oh, okay.
Charming. Laid-back luxury, a peaceful retreat. It all sounds very idyllic.
They definitely saved the most exclusive-sounding location for last.
Right?
Remember, they were very deliberate in showcasing those luxury villas in Beaufort,
Okay.
the ones of breathtaking sea views. We're talking about a high-end clientele here,
Right.
a very specific niche.
Okay, so maybe not in my budget just yet.
Right.
But for those who can swing it, what makes Beaufort such a magnet for luxury real estate?
It's all about exclusivity and that unique charm they emphasized.
Okay.
They played up the fisherman's village angle,
Right.
which suggests a blend of traditional Thai culture with upscale amenities.
Right.
It's not just about owning a property. It's about buying into a lifestyle.
And that lifestyle comes at a premium, I'm guessing?
You got it. And
Yeah.
with that premium comes both higher potential returns and potentially higher risks.
Okay, so we've got trying the bustling hub with potential for high returns, but also higher volatility.
Right.
Lamai, the more laid-back, family-friendly option, perhaps more stable, but with questions about its long-term growth prospects.
Right.
And then Beaufort, the luxury retreat, catering to a very specific high-end market.
Right.
3 very distinct flavors of paradise.
That's a great way to put it. But choosing a location is just one piece of the puzzle.
Right.
We still need to address the elephant in the room, those legal complexities of buying property in Thailand.
Right, because it's not as simple as picking a pretty spot on the map, slapping down a down payment, and calling it a day. It definitely sounds like due diligence is crucial here,
It is.
especially with those legal intricacies you mentioned.
Yeah.
So no matter how strong that island breeze is calling our name, we can't let those practicalities slip through the cracks.
We can't.
Right.
We can't remember those restrictions on foreigners directly owning land in Thailand.
Right.
We need to talk about how those impact your options.
Okay.
Because they're a pretty big deal.
Right. We skimmed over leaseholds earlier,
Right.
which seemed like the most common path for foreign buyers.
They are.
But what does that actually mean for someone looking to put down roots, so to speak?
Okay, so with a leasehold, you're essentially entering into a long-term rental agreement
Okay.
with a Thai landowner.
Right.
The standard lease is for 30 years,
Okay.
though some might offer the option to renew.
30 years sounds like a decent amount of time.
Right.
What's the catch? Why wouldn't someone just renew at the end if they wanted to stay on?
That's where things get a bit murky. You're beholden to Thai property law,
Okay.
which, let's just say, isn't always known for its straightforwardness.
Okay.
Those laws can change, circumstances change,
Right.
and sometimes those renewal options aren't as ironclad as you might hope.
Right.
That's why having a sharp lawyer
Okay.
who specializes in Thai real estate is absolutely essential.
Okay.
They'll help you navigate those complexities
Right.
and make sure your investment is protected.
Okay, so legal expertise is a must-have when navigating leaseholds in Thailand.
Absolutely.
What about that other avenue we touched on, setting up a Thai company to own the land?
Right.
That sounds like a whole other level of paperwork.
It can be,
Right.
but it's often the preferred route
Okay.
for those looking for more direct control over their investment,
Right.
despite the extra hoops. You'd essentially create a Thai company,
Right.
and that company would hold the title to the land.
Okay.
But here's the important caveat.
Okay.
Foreigners are usually limited to owning 49%
Okay.
of the shares in a Thai company.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
So you're saying even if I go through all the effort of setting up this company,
Right.
I wouldn't even be the majority shareholder?
Correct.
That doesn't exactly inspire confidence.
It's definitely something to consider very carefully.
Wow.
The remaining 51% of the shares
Okay.
have to be held by Thai nationals or entities.
Right.
So trust and transparency are paramount.
Okay.
You need rock-solid legal agreements, a deep understanding of Thai corporate law,
Right.
and a reliable local partner you can trust implicitly.
Right.
This route is definitely not for those who prefer to go it alone.
Okay, so leaseholds come with their own set of legal nuances.
Right.
And setting up a company requires a whole lot of trust in your Thai partners.
Yes.
Are there any simpler options for those of us who might not be ready to navigate those complexities?
There is one more path,
Okay.
and it's arguably the most straightforward
Okay.
in terms of ownership structure.
Okay.
Buying a condominium,
Condos.
Thailand allows foreigners to directly own condo units,
Right.
which can be very appealing,
That's true.
especially for those looking for a more hands-off investment.
Condos. So we're talking about those beachfront high-rises.
Right.
The kind with infinity pools and stunning ocean views.
Exactly.
Sign me up.
Well, hold on a minute.
Okay.
While condo ownership is relatively straightforward,
Okay.
there's a catch. A 49% foreign ownership cap for each condo project.
Okay.
So if that luxurious beachfront development you're eyeing
Right.
has already hit that 49% limit of foreign buyers,
Let me guess I'm out of luck.
you got it.
Yeah.
You'd be competing with other foreign investors for a limited number of units.
Wow.
And those prime locations, like the ones they keep highlighting in these articles,
Right.
those tend to fill up quickly.
So it's a trade-off. Condos offer a simpler ownership structure,
Right.
but you might find yourself battling for a coveted spot
Yeah.
in a market with limited foreign ownership opportunities.
Precisely. It's
Yeah.
all about weighing those pros and cons,
Right.
understanding your risk tolerance, and most importantly,
Okay.
doing your research,
Right.
which brings us back to due diligence.
Right. That ever-present due diligence. It seems like that's the golden rule
It is.
for any type of property investment.
Yes.
Whether we're talking about a charming beachfront condo or a sprawling villa in the hills.
Absolutely. And it's where a good lawyer earns their keep.
Right.
They'll comb through those title deeds, verify building permits, make sure the zoning regulations are all in order. It's about uncovering any hidden issues
Right.
before you sign on the dotted line.
It sounds like a robust legal team is just as important as a good real estate agent
Oh, for sure.
when you're venturing into international property investment.
Absolutely.
So to wrap things up,
Okay.
for our listeners who are either fully on board the Samui train
Right.
or maybe feeling a bit more cautious after our deep dive, what are the key takeaways here? Is this a dream investment destination or a potential minefield?
I think the truth as always lies somewhere in between.
Okay. Samui undoubtedly holds incredible potential
Right.
for the savvy investor. These articles showcase some genuinely enticing opportunities, but it's crucial to approach them with both eyes open.
Right. Don't just take their word for it, no matter how convincing they might sound.
Exactly. Independent research is paramount.
Right.
Understand those legal complexities, analyze the market data,
Right.
get expert advice every step of the way. Don't let the allure of paradise cloud your judgment.
Sound advice.
Okay.
So for our listener who's now armed with a healthy dose of both excitement and caution,
Yes.
what's the final thought we want to leave them with
Okay.
as they ponder their own Samui real estate journey?
Here's a question to consider.
Okay.
If you were to invest in Samui,
Right.
knowing what we know now about the potential rewards and the very real complexities.
What kind of property would you set your sights on?
Okay.
And what strategy would you use to mitigate those risks and maximize your returns?
Right.
It's something to ponder before you book that one-way ticket to paradise.
Well said. And with that image of a meticulously researched, strategically planned slice of paradise.
There you go.
We'll wrap up our Samui deep dive. Until next time, happy and informed investing.